Hello everybody, I am Theo, one of Mind This One Titanium students, and at his request I'm making this short presentation on Bitcoin and the related technologies of blockchain. So what is Bitcoin? We have to make clear at the beginning, Bitcoin is not money. Bitcoin is a commodity. To be money, what is money is a lot longer discussion. We can have that over a beer sometime. But to be money, something needs to be drawn on a population that has a functioning government with functioning laws, tax collection, a territory, and a functioning army to protect that territory. Bitcoin is just like gold. I know lots of people think gold is money, but it's not. It's a commodity like iron ore or cotton. It's a commodity. People pay good money for it, but at the moment it's a fashion. So if the fashion changes, your investment will be left high and dry. So if it's not money and this kind of you cannot really touch it, what does give Bitcoin value? As far as I can fathom, it's the convenience of moving value, money, or your monetary assets, your wealth, across frontiers without restrictions or traceability that the banks and government normally impose on their citizens at the moment. And these restrictions, unfortunately, due to neoliberal dogma, are getting tighter and tighter. Another thing we have to clear at the beginning is that Bitcoin is not blockchain. Blockchain, or DLT, is just the underlying technology that supports Bitcoin and other alternative coins like Ethereum or Zcash. And this technology has lots of other uses in fields that can benefit from a distributed ledger, like commodity trading, land registry. And this is quite evident in Gibraltar's Financial Services Commission, a definition of it, in their attempt to license these technologies. In essence, all commercial use of DLT as a means to store and transmit value. On top of the cryptocurrencies, they list value as including assets, holdings, or other forms of ownership, rights of interest. So we saw that the government of Gibraltar is trying to license it. What about the other governments? They don't really know what to do with it. Some declare it money, some declare it not money, and definitely none of them regulate it. But that doesn't mean that there can't be unofficial attention from governments, because whilst the design of Bitcoin is pretty tamper-proof, it has some limitations, like any human designed systems. In essence, it is a consensus-based system. If I buy a machine, if I buy a computer and say, falsely, I claim that I own 1 million Bitcoin, my machine will consult with the rest of the machines and reject my modification as an error. This kind of error is called going Byzantine, kind of half crash. Yes, the system, the Bitcoin system is very well protected against this kind of attack. But let's run this thought experiment. Suppose I'm very rich and very bored, and instead of buying just one machine, I buy enough machines to own 60% of all the blockchain nodes. It would be very expensive, but not. This is not beyond the capabilities of the big state actors, something like the NSA or the big guys who have access to lots of computers. It's very feasible, and all of a sudden I'm the majority, and as the majority I dictate the consensus. And if I do this carefully and one bit at a time, nobody will find this out either. So that was like a theoretical vulnerability, if you want. The question arises, what is the situation at the moment? Has the Bitcoin, Ethereum, altcoin infrastructure been infiltrated? In effect, nobody can know. and Bitcoin and blockchain are deemed to be, small at the moment, still flying under the radar. Not many people really understand what it is. But they're certainly watched. They're probably useful to them in some ways. And as a portent for the future, Christine Lagarde, the managing director of the IMF, has warned that central banks and financial services need to pay closer attention to cryptocurrencies. And normally closer attention from the big guys doesn't bode much good. And what about the future? Well, as someone once said, predictions are hard, especially about the future. But what is certain at the moment is that entering the blockchain and modifying it, supervising it or corrupting it, is just a matter of money and will to do it. Will it happen? Well, we can make bets about it, and as good traders, we know that this is all we can do about the future. Looking into the future, Bitcoin is in a bubble. There's no doubt about it. The trajectory of it looks parabolic. You can see a graph of it as a background to all these slides. And it's rising. Will it crash? Well, for sure. When will it crash? Well, nobody knows. Is it safe to trade at the moment? Definitely no. After the dust settles, after the crash, maybe, but even then, it's down to your individual preferences. Now we are in this sort of euphoric, hyper-euphoric stage, and better away.